Hi, welcome to another episode of Note Comparison. Today we got coffee note fragrances that we're going to do a comparison on. So the ones that I have here for everyone today, I've enjoyed this comparison. First, I'm going to mention the one that I have a full bottle of, and I have a full bottle of this one because I found a really good deal on it. Atelier Cologne's Café Tuberosa. This was made in 2017. The nose behind this, couldn't find, it doesn't say, just says Atelier Cologne. So the notes that we're reading off of this one: bergamot, mandarin, cardamom, rose oil, tuberose, coffee, vanilla, cacao pod. Next we have one that I'm really excited about, and I'm really excited to see more from this house now. Acro Awake. This one is from 2018. Olivier Cresp is the nose behind this. Also, I should mention this is a Cologne Absolute. Acro Awake is an eau de parfum. The notes for Acro Awake, this is a little bit interesting: coffee, cardamom, Italian lemon, Haitian vetiver, 4 notes. So from what I understand with Acro, they like to have few notes, and then they like to make sure that those few notes are very well blended and very high quality. I like the mindset behind that, but every fragrance should be that way. I would think, right? So then we have a flanker on an old loved fragrance. We have Mantle's Ristretto Intense Café. So Intense Café, in the fragrance community, there's a lot of people that love that fragrance, a lot of people that wear it, that own 1 or 2 bottles of it even. This one was 2019, so this was just a couple months ago. It's by Mantle. So let's get to what I get from these scents and how I feel if I didn't own any of these, what I would be going for now that I've experienced these scents. I'll say that right now. Out of these 3, if I were to only own one coffee scent, the one that I would want the full bottle of is Acro Awake. Acro Awake, we'll do application right now. Acro Awake, on the opening, it's so beautiful. Whenever I read the notes, I was curious about how this lemon would go with the coffee. And it's not too loud, it's not too in your face. You get this hot, just delicious, I'm ready for it cup of coffee. And with this hot, delicious cup of coffee, you get the crisp freshness of this lemon, this sweet and zesty lemon. And the two combined, you wouldn't expect. It just makes it something that I would reach for this and say, I'm going to wear this to the office. I'd reach for this and say, I'm going to wear this going out. I'm going to wear this to the gym even. I'm eager to wear it. I'm eager to reach for it. That's something really nice to know about a scent, that it's something you're eager to want to wear because you really enjoy wearing it. It's not something that is mad projecting everywhere where everyone else is going to have you enjoy you wearing it as well. If people come into your personal space, they're going to smell it. Maybe on initial spray, they'll smell it as well a little further, but it's not a projection beast. It's something that sits a little close to you. It's something that has great longevity, and it smells fantastic. It's something, in that opening, I told you it has the lemon and the coffee, and it's a good quality coffee note. They did really well. The cardamom And the vetiver I never really pick out. I don't get the vetiver, but the cardamom I think is working hand in hand with the lemon and sitting behind the lemon. So the standout notes for my nose to discern is the coffee and the lemon. When it dries down, what I get from Awake is a little bit more like a caramel macchiato. There's nothing in here that should scream caramel, but there's something about it that just turns into more of a sweet coffee. And that fresh crispness is rounded out. So you're not getting that fresh crispness of the lemon anymore. The lemon kind of fades away and you have just kind of like a sweet coffee scent. It's very nice, very pleasant to wear. Really, really happy. And now I'm curious to see what else Acro has. I haven't even looked at the other scents to see what else they offer. So let's go to Atelier Cologne's Café Tuberosa. Let's not get this in my coffee. Okay. See, with this one, when you spray it, people are going to smell it from far off on that initial spray. It's potent on the initial spray. You do get coffee. This Acro Awake is like a cup of coffee, but there's something that's also like the dry bean grounds. But I get nothing like dry grounds from the Café Tuberosa. I get coffee that somehow has been mixed with like a jammy preserved sweet rose. And that's the thing that makes it interesting. And that's kind of, that opening is kind of what made me decide I don't have anything like this and I'd be curious to own a bottle. But now that I've spent more time with it, it's not something that I need to own or that I would be wearing that often, to be honest. There's a lot of people that love this scent and there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't need, I'm picky with rose scents. I'm picky with rose notes. I don't go after rose often because it has to be done really, really, really well for me to want it. Not that it's not done well here. It's a jammy, enjoyable rose, but I'd kind of like to have the cup of coffee minus the rose. I don't get tuberose in this, in the dry down, in the opening, the vanilla, the cacao pod. Maybe if it had more of the cacao pod in there, it would tame that sweetness a little bit because straight up cacao can be a little bit more acidic, a lot more acidic. And maybe it would balance out the sweetness some. But I mean, if you really enjoy that mix and you enjoy that jammy rose with the coffee, it's a long-lasting scent. It's a long-lasting fragrance. You're getting your money's worth in that. It's a good fragrance. I don't get a lot of vanilla. The cardamom, also really any of the citrus is standing behind everything else. So you don't get, I don't get pronounced citrus notes, but I can tell there is citrus in there. But for me, it's really the rose and the coffee that are going back and forth with each other. Okay. Okay, Mantle, let's dance. So now we got Ristretto Intense Café. The first two sprays kind of missed my wrist. You know, the more that I try it out, I like it. If you already have Intense Café, I wouldn't say you need to get Ristretto Intense Café unless you're just an absolute nut for Intense Café and you want every variation. Ristretto Intense Café has a little bit more coffee, but it's not, I've experienced the dry down several times now, and it's not super pronounced in the dry down, but it is a good quality coffee in the opening. And it is a coffee note that I think I like better than what I get from the Atelier Cologne Café Tuberosa. I think the coffee note I get in this is maybe because it's a jammy coffee note, and the coffee note in this is a little bit more dry, and I like that. Now, Ristretto Intense Cafe says it has black coffee, rose water, rose buds, roasted coffee beans, so you're getting double rose, double coffee, woody notes, vanilla pods, white musk, caramel, amber. What you're getting shared between these fragrances, all three sharing coffee, of course. These two share cardamom in the note list. Didn't say I'm getting cardamom from them. These two share rose in some form. So you have rose oil, and then you have rose water, rose bud. And then they also share vanilla in some form. You have vanilla, and then you have vanilla pod. So when this starts to dry down, you still have the rose that's there through the entire life of the scent, the rose water particularly. Then the musk starts to come in. The caramel, I guess it depends on how you perceive that caramel note. I don't get a lot of caramel. The rose is there more than I would like it to be for a coffee scent that I would want. So it's safe to say, out of these three, you're getting your money's worth as far as they last. The projection is very comfortable for me with this one. With these other two, with the Mantle, with the Atelier Cologne, the opening is really loud, so maybe I'd want it to settle down a little bit before I'm around people. But once it does settle down, it's not shooting off and radiating like the sun. It's a comfortable distance. But if anyone enters the room that you just sprayed this in, they're going to smell it really loud. So yeah, the coffee is pretty good in the Mantle. But like I said, the rose is really there. These are all three unisex. I think Awake is not more masculine, but it doesn't have the floral notes at all. It doesn't have rose. I'd really like to maybe do a future comparison with Acro Awake and Kerosene's Follow fragrance and see how those two work together, how they compare. But out of the three, if I was going full bottle, again, I know I already have the full bottle for this one, but out of the three, if I could only have one of the three and I was going full bottle, it's going to be this Acro Awake. So happy to know about this now. And I've had this that long. I've not had it. And look how much I've already used. It's really nice. Just really well blended, nice scent. It's not, none of these are something incredibly challenging. None of them are a reinvention. You know, they're not really blowing your mind, but they're good scents that are approachable, pretty easy to wear, and they're different enough from everything else that you smell out there. Although the Mantles all seem to carry that same DNA. So in the future, what I hope to do when I put the time into it, this is embarrassing to show right now, but I kind of have can't read it really, but I have a diagram in which I have all three scents. I try to want to limit it to 2 to 3 scents. And then I just show where notes meet, where they're separate, and so on. I'd also like to do some videos where I'll have a perfumer that I have 2 or 3 of their other fragrances, preferably maybe even from different houses, and just do a comparison of how their work expands across the houses, and is it something that if I smell the different iterations they've made, different fragrances they've made. Is there something about their work that I'm just going to be like, I'll blind buy their bottles? Because from what I've seen across these different houses, across these different types of fragrances, I just really like what they put together and how they blend. And I feel safe to blind buy from them. Blind buys, some people don't do it all. I'll take the risk on some. I took a risk on an amber I recently purchased, and I'm really happy with that. So it paid off. I have an amber comparison I want to do. I have a winter fragrance, kind of Christmassy scents that I want to do a comparison on. And I also have a couple of ideas on some ambergris, maybe some aldehydes. If you have any ideas, there's something you want to see, I'm working with primarily, you're probably going to see decants and samples, but if I have full bottle, you'll see that too. And I'll try to show you for those of you that really like to see the presentation. I should have brought the box out here. I'm sorry I didn't. But for those of you that really like to see the presentation, there you go. That here, cologne fragrances overall all pretty much look the same. The cap look might look different. The colors might look different. But the bottles themselves, they all pretty much look the same. It has this vinyl-like label that wraps around one side, hugs that side, and then it's completely blank right here. There you have it for today. Look forward to making another one, seeing you guys next time. And just give me any feedback if there's anything that you want to see compared. Take care, guys.